off instead of hiking down.
So is a happy dog.
Ow, ow, that hurts. Be nice. Be nice.
Beautiful trees and a beautiful mountain. And then back to near us, right, Mom?
Sit down. Sit. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's go. Hello, and welcome to the Larch podcast. My name is Jenny. You can find me on Instagram as Lone Larch Designs, and on Etsy as Lone Larch Designs, and on Ravelry as Lone Larch Designs or Jentastic. How's everyone doing? It's been a few minutes. Life took a very interesting direction. So I was not podcasting for quite some time, but I'm back and things are good. So a quick recap of the past year and a half. I got into an accident at work and I broke my back and I broke my ankle and was out of work or not out of work, but I was not going to work. I was in some pretty intense physio. Was not working for about 6 months. And that was really hard, and it was a very emotional thing to go through as well as physical. But for the most part, I'm back to normal, if not stronger than I was before. So yeah, that was an interesting experience. What else has happened? We got a puppy. Her name is Rosie. She's a coon hound. She's a mix of black and tan. Her mom was black and tan, and her dad was a blue tick. For some reason, I couldn't think of that word right now. She's awesome. She is very different than the beagles, but in a good way. Actually, I would have to say completely in a good way, in every way. Different than the beagles. She is very tall. Jared sold me on the coonhound breed by telling me it was just a beagle, only taller. She is like twice the size of a beagle, or our beagles anyway. She's huge. We call her moose legs because she has legs as long as a moose, and she gives gross sloppy moose kisses because she has big jowls. Anyway, she's fantastic. We got Rosie, and we relocated to a new town. We decided that it was time to get out of Olds and that there were going to be no more excuses, and we just made it happen. So we moved to Sparwood, BC, which is in the southeast corner of BC. It's honestly 15 minutes over the border of Alberta. It's very close. It's 15 minutes from Fernie, if you know where Fernie is. So we are back in that world, and it has been a very easy adjustment, I have to say, getting back into the mountain town life. It's not a Fernie mountain town. It's much quieter than Fernie. I honestly forgot how busy tourist towns are in the mountains. we lived in Fernie for a couple of years before we got married, and also we lived in Jasper. So I sort of thought I remembered what it was like living in a tourist town. And then we came back here, and I mean, I'm in a completely different point in my life too, I guess, which changes things. I guess I have slowed down quite a bit, if you can believe it. But we're very happy that we chose Sparwood over Fernie. It's nice to come back to a nice, quiet little town in the forest instead of just being overrun with people in Fernie. So it's been a really good move so far. It went pretty much flawless. Sold our house. Okay, no. So we put our house on sale, for sale in Olds, sold our house, and had bought our house in a matter of 2 weeks. And then our move date was a month after that. So it was very quick. It was a very quick couple of months, a very stressful couple of months, but it's pretty awesome. So this is where base camp is now, and Emmy and I are really enjoying it. We've been adventuring constantly, every day, every other day. Some days we just have to stay home and chill out because there's too many places to explore, so we're just kind of running around for the first couple weeks. Had to do everything every day. Had to have so much fun and enjoy it and adventure, and honestly got a little bit burnt out. So we've slowed down a little bit and yeah, are pretty comfortable. And now my phone's gonna have low power. I am a rookie at recording podcasts now, so bear with me. Luckily, I have a charging station right here. Hold on. Try not to knock everything over. So that's the quick run through of the past year and a half. If you want to know more, send me messages and I'll be happy to go into more detail. But really, life carries on, and we're in a much better place than we were when I was recording last, to be completely honest. So things are good. Want to talk about some stuff? I think it's time for the love of trees. For the love of trees! So I was reading to you out of a different book before. I figured new time, new podcast, new whatever part of life. So let's choose a new book. So this is a book that I've been working my way through. And I'm going to read a little section from it. It's right at the beginning. And it talks about fire, which is actually very fitting living in the town that we do. We're very close. We're in a valley that is very narrow. So there's like walls of mountain on each side that are just absolutely packed with forest. It's a very, very dense forest, filled with pine, very little spruce, honestly. Pine, spruce, Doug fir, tamarack, and aspen and cottonwood. So this is just very fitting for the situation that we found ourselves in now. The great natural fires come from neither heaven nor hell. They are part of the natural process that govern life of plants and animals. Fire is energy that originated in the immense cauldron of nuclear fusion that is our sun. Solar energy streamed down on Earth and was captured by leaves and then transferred into stable molecules that are regularly, if accidentally, reignited and transformed back into fire. This century fire is much a part of life of the rainforest as rain, or the hum of insects, or the chirr of northern flying squirrels and tree voles. Lodgepole pines, giant sequoias, and other western conifers are serotinous. I've never heard that word before. Or late opening. I'm sure I have. I just forget stuff readily all the time. Lodgepole pines, giant sequoias, and other western conifers are serotinous, or late opening. Instead of dropping their seeds as soon as they are ripe, as apples or maples do, they hang on to them and drop them in response to some environmental trigger. Lodgepole pines may keep their cones closed for 50 years, waiting for a fire to come along to open the cones and release the seeds. Sequoias also keep their cones tightly shut for decades, releasing the seeds only when the cones are heated to 50 to 60 degrees centigrade, 120 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. And such temperatures can only be achieved by fire. Plant and animal tissues begin to break down at 50 degrees centigrade, which means these giants release their seeds at temperatures high enough to kill them. It is thought that the lowest branches on some conifers die and remain attached to the tree for no other purpose than to act as fuel to send ground fires shooting up into their crowns to heat the cones and spring the seeds. Douglas firs, Pseudotsuga menziesii, do not need fire to reproduce, but they do depend on the fire for their survival. Their seedlings do not tolerate shade. The trees rely on fire to clear the ground above the bases of such lower growing species as western hemlock and western red cedar, so that when their seeds do fall, they will settle on untenanted, I don't know what that word means, and therefore unshaded terrain. Therefore, ash contains precious nutrients upon which young seedlings can flourish. Without fire, Douglas fir forests would eventually climax to hemlock and red cedar forests. Mature Doug firs can withstand these cleansing fires because they have evolved thick, non-flammable bark up to 30 centimeters. 30 centimeters thick, their bark. Amazing. In mature trees. That protects the living cambium layer within. Fire is whimsical, and it can sweep through thousands of hectares of timbers It can sweep through thousands of hectares of timber in a few days, seemingly bent on destroying everything in its path, yet leaving a sapling here, a mature tree here, an entire stand of trees elsewhere. After this particular fire, a hasty glance back at the blackened, burnt-out valley might take in nothing but charred spires leaning above the mounds of gray ash, but a closer look, especially after rain, would reveal an occasional slash of green, a glint of sunlight from streaks of running resin, and in a sheltered spot in the downwind side of a low ridge, a small oasis of spared forest. Although Doug fir cones do not require high temperatures to pry them open, they must be dried to less than 50% of their natural moisture content. Within days of the conflagration of hundreds of pendant cones on a single defiant 230-foot Douglas fir slowly spread their scales and release their store of winged seeds to an unimpeded wind. The seeds whirl and spin their way to the ground. 95% of them will never germinate, falling on rock, into water, or onto barren soil. 95% of the rest will die within their first year from lack of nutrients, too much shade, or the appetites of enterprising deer, mice, or Douglas squirrels. But nature's extravagance ensures that a few, enough, will land on moist, mineral soil that will stimulate germination. Most of those will never achieve maturity, falling victim to another fire before they are sufficiently barked. A browsing black-tailed deer and elk using them for a too vigorous antler rub, insects, fungal disease, drought, a landslide, killing frost, or competition from other trees, but one of them will establish itself in a clear, high, well-drained spot with plenty of sunlight and a steady, moisture-laden breeze, rising from the Pacific Ocean at the sparkling end of a regreening valley. The seed will send out roots, grow a stem, sprout branches, spread needles, and continue to mature for the next 500 years or so. It will be our tree. So this book follows a tree, obviously. This is our tree. This is Doug fir that we've been talking about. It follows kind of like its life cycle all the way through to the end. So that's the first step. Fire. Yeah, fire. It's part of the forest's life cycle. So carry on. I would really recommend this book. It's really interesting. It's really well written. So go grab it, and you can follow along, or you can read through way quicker than I will get through it, but it's a good one to enjoy. So, for the love of trees, Rosie, would you like to come and say hello? Rosie's being a deck dog. Come here. Come on. Come here. And come up. I don't know if she'll do this. We don't usually get her to come up. Up. She's not much of a jumper. Come here. Maybe go around. Come on. Come on. Come on, get up here. She's like, usually I get into trouble if I do that. No? Okay, why don't we do this? I'm gonna wreck my whole setup if I do that. No? Okay. Up here. Come here, get up. Up. No, she's not gonna do it. Okay, so carrying on. What should we talk about first? I'll show you a couple of finished objects that, well, two finished things that I've finished recently. I'm not going to go back and show you everything I've knit over the past year and a half because it's a lot of things. Actually, to be honest, I've released quite a few patterns, and that's what I've been doing mostly, is designing patterns. I now have the drum bag shawl, the drum bag hat. I was trying to remember if I'd podcasted those, but I wasn't. That was after I got wrecked. So you haven't seen either of those, and they're all at Kate's house as samples for Knit City, so I can't even show you. But so I have the drum bag shawl, drum bag hat. What else do I have out? The Bronwyn shawl, and then I have two new hat patterns that are coming out. I'll talk about this one first because it's right here. So this is the one that's going to be coming out in the next few days. This is the Sparwood hat. I wonder why I chose that name. To be perfectly honest, I don't know why. This place is kind of it's kind of a dream come true for us. So I felt that it needed to be praised as such. I don't know, by naming a hat after it. I don't know what I was thinking. But when we left Olds, my friend Sarah, she's Yarn Lab on Instagram, if you know Sarah. She is fantastic. She is part of my knitty group that we used to meet once a week and sometimes knit. Honestly, we usually just would talk about what was going on in our life and vent and complain and laugh and just have a good time. But the day that we moved, she requested that she be able to drop off a cooler of travel snacks because we had to drive all the way here with all of our stuff. And I said, then we will have travel snacks. We won't have to stop for food. That would be fantastic. So she showed up with her boys that morning and handed over all this food, got great hugs, and we carried on because we had to get out of the house for the new people. And we had to get down here to meet our realtor. So we stopped about halfway for lunch in someplace, Nanton, and I started pulling food out of the bag and out of the cooler and everything. And she had stuffed 3 little skeins of yarn, of her Yarn Lab yarn, in the bottom of one of the bags. And it was a fantastic little goodbye and a fantastic little hug from friends that I miss very much, to be perfectly honest. Both her and Sasha were pretty huge people in my life at the very end of our time in Olds, and it's been very hard to be without them. But so that's part of the reason why I started this hat, was to show her how much I appreciated her and her just the really cool friendship that we had started, that we came to have this small time that we did actually live in the same town. So this is Sarah's yarn. Looks very nice in here. The color, the light in here is pretty fantastic. So it's a Colorwork hat. The 3 colors that I used for hers for this are I kept the tags. Here they are. Sarah's yarn is awesome. So this is her label, Yarn Lab. And each one of her colors is its own element. So I used carbon, that's the dark brown obviously. I used calcium, which is the light, and I used magnesium, which is the green. So it's a very simple colorwork hat. The cool thing about Sarah's yarn too is that it comes in 50-gram skeins. So it's perfect for color work. I did not use all of the yarn. I still actually have quite a bit left. This was the main color. I think I have like 20 grams left of that. And then these ones, no. Yeah, that's right. 20 grams left. And then I think I only used like 10 to 15. I don't know. I wrote it down somewhere in my notes, but of these other two colors. So I have quite a bit left. So you can either just use leftovers of what you have in your stash, or you can go through her yarn, all of her different colors, and just specifically choose the colors that you want to use. So that's fantastic. I really enjoyed making it. This one is Emmy size. This is her size. And then I have my size, which I did out of, pardon me, Kate's Fiddly Dye Works yarn. I did a completely different, way less contrasty color work on this one, and I really like the way it turned out. So just because you don't have to do it dark color, light color, medium color. You can really do it any colors that you want. And the contrast doesn't even have to be a lot. I thought it was really, really cool. Like there's the gray, I hope you can see it, but there's a gray, light gray, and then there's a light blue. Light gray is Ryan Taylor, yeah, Ryan, and the light blue is Amelia. And they're so close. Honestly, I screwed up so many times doing this hat because they were so close. In terrible light, like in the evenings, I couldn't tell which color I was using. So I'd have to put the two balls that I wasn't using into my knitting bag and just have the one that I was supposed to be using out to make sure that I was using the right yarn. So it's really fun play with color, and you can do whatever you want. So that's the Sparwood hat. It's going to be coming out, today is Monday. It's probably going to be out on, I'm going to say Wednesday or Thursday, just to give myself lots of time. Wednesday or Thursday, and I was thinking about doing a knit along, but I don't know how that's going to work out yet. So if the knit along does happen, once the pattern is out, on my next podcast, I'll talk about how that is all going to play out. But I think we should do a knit along. I mean, I haven't podcasted in forever. I haven't done a knit along in forever for with anyone or for myself at all. So why not? Let's do a knit along. But we'll talk about it more in the next go. I wanted to also mention these Pom Poms are fantastic. Did you notice these Pom Poms? These are teeny tiny Pom Poms. And I love them. I'm not a big fan of like the pom pom that is the size of your head on top of your hat, and because I find that it pulls my hat off. It totally changes the center of balance on a hat, if hats can have center of balances. I'm not sure, but I find them really annoying. So these are the pom poms that I am absolutely in love with, and this is who they're from. Red Fox Fibers. She is an Alberta maker. I've been following her for a long time and wanting to try her pom-poms for a long time, but right before we moved, Olds Fiber Week happened, and so I went to the marketplace with Sarah and Sasha, and this is one of the things that I brought home from there. So she has, I think these are the mini size, itty bitty pom-poms. This is the itty bitty, and then there's a small, and then there's a medium. And they're fantastic. And the reason that I like them, I like the size for one, but the other reason I like them is that they are real fur. And to me, real fur is a better option than acrylic. Her husband is a trapper, and so he has the pelts, and once he's trapped the animal and processed it and everything, and then he makes the pelts to sell, or processes the pelts to sell, there's always little bits of scrap and stuff that are left over, and instead of just discarding that, this lady takes it and makes these gorgeous pom-poms with it. And they're glorious. But the funny thing is I really have to watch Rosie with them because she can smell them. I don't know. She realizes that it used to be a real creature, and so she will go for them if it is left laying about the house. So I absolutely love them. I feel as though they were taken responsibly and processed responsibly, and I am much more in favor of that than acrylic pom-poms. So there's that. So that's the Sparwood hat. I hope you guys like it. I will post on Instagram exactly when it's being released, but it will be up very, very soon. So that's the Sparwood hat. There's the pom-pom. Good. I'm glad. I've had that tag forever so that I didn't forget to show you guys those pom-poms. My next finished object is a shirt that I made, and I have not even tried it on yet, if you can believe it. Right in the midst of all of the stress of moving, I decided to cast on a sweater shirt, crop top, because why not? Well, honestly, it was perfect. It was a perfect knit for that time. I finished it about 3 days before we moved, and then it got packed away, and when we got here a week later, I finally pulled it out and blocked it, and it's been hanging in my sewing room closet. Yes, that's right, I have a sewing room. It's been hanging in the closet ever since, so I actually haven't tried it on. I don't even know if it fits me. I hope it does. Because number one, I didn't do a gauge swatch. Number two, no, I must have done a gauge swatch because I did the math to make it smaller. No, I didn't. No, I didn't do a gauge swatch. I just did the math to make it smaller and hoped that my measurements, because you're supposed to have like 10 inches of positive ease or something like that, and I don't like the way that shirts look on me if they have that much ease. I feel as though I look more like a coat rack than I already do, so I prefer much more fitted things. Anyway, so this is actually like a size 8 to 10 or something, like a kid's size 8 to 10. But with the chest measurements, it was the size that I am. And I wanted it to either be 0 ease or like very, very minimal positive ease. So I absolutely love the way it looks. It looks like it fits me. I think it fits me. I'm not going to put it on because it's super warm and I'll cook to death because it's already really quite warm in here. But I absolutely love this knit, and I think I'm actually going to make another one for Emmy. I was going to just give her this one, but I don't know. That might still happen. I'll tell you that story in a little while. The yarn that I used for it was lichen and lace that I've had, for an eternity, or one of them I've had for an eternity. Stop running away. This is the Pressed Flowers colorway. I'll try to look at the camera more, sorry. I'm just looking at my phone so that I can make sure I'm actually showing you what I'm showing you. It's the Pressed Flowers colorway. It's 1-ply superwash merino fingering. And my friend Lara gave it to me. I don't even know how long ago it was. I have no idea. I think it like maybe 2 years ago. Might have been a birthday present or something. I don't remember, Lara. What was it? But I've been hoarding this yarn forever. And I decided, actually when I was with Lara again, we were at Stash in Calgary, and they had the lichen and lace mohair. And I thought I wanted to make the Love Note, and I couldn't. The Love Note is by Tin Can Knits. I think it's their newest pattern that's out. And yeah, so you can actually find what pattern this is. So the mohair that I used is marsh mohair. It's a 50-gram ball, 72% kid mohair, and 28% silk. And the colorway is Huckleberry. There you go. So and there is purple in the single ply. That's why, oh, sorry. There is purple in the single ply. That's why I chose to put them together. And I think it turned out really nice. But I think this is one of the reasons why I might give it to Emmy, because I think I would have liked it better if it was all one color. Like instead of using the mohair that's the dark and then the almost white contrasty, I think I should have done them both in the same colorway. Like there was mohair that was in the pressed flowers colorway, and I think I would have liked it more if it was just more consistent. I'm not a huge fan of like the marled look, but I have to say that it is very even with this yarn. So I don't know. For this one, this definitely wasn't a product knit for me. This was definitely a process. It was perfect for the timing. And maybe I'll keep it, and then I'll just see once it actually is not like 1,000 degrees outside, I'll see if I'll wear it more before I just hand it off to the kiddo. But I would definitely recommend this pattern. I really enjoyed it, and the range of sizes that it offers is huge. It's tin can knit, so it's like from newborn all the way up to, I don't even know what the biggest size is, 4XL maybe. I don't know what the chest circumference is, but it's very adaptable, as all their patterns are. So that's that. It sure is soft though, holy cow. I think the fluffy bits might bug Emmy. That's why I'm kind of nervous to give it to her. But if she doesn't wear it, then I'll just take it back, I guess. What's the big deal, Jenny? So that's all the finished objects I'm going to show you right now. Some things that I have been working on are, should I show you? I was just thinking maybe I won't show you some of the stuff, but honestly, I always have an itch to do some brioche. Did I tell you everything? Yes, I think I did. So I have this kind of ongoing brioche shawl going. Brioche takes me forever. Does it take everybody else forever too? Like, I get that you have to knit every row twice, but it still seems like it takes forever to actually feel like you're making any progress. So I've been picking this up and putting it down and picking it up and putting it down, and really enjoying it every single time. So I'm being all secretive. I don't know why. I guess because I can see it. I don't realize you can't see it. But so I'm making the Excuse Me shawl by Stephen West. Excuse Me shawl. And I guess I'll just show you this. I'm probably not going to do much editing at all. I'm probably just going to stick the videos together and then let you guys find the, there you go, Excuse Me shawl. Let you guys find the stuff on your own, because I don't like sitting in front of a computer, and that's part of the reason that I haven't been podcasting, is because editing takes a ridiculous amount of time, especially putting the titles in and everything. So I'm not going to do that because I have way more fun things I'd rather be doing, to be perfectly honest. So the yarn I'm using, I actually got this yarn at Stash with Lara once again. I think that's part of the reason I'm really enjoying all the knits that I'm doing right now, is that everything has come either from a friend or I've bought with a friend. It has some sort of personal meaning to it. So do I even have the tags in here? Please tell me. I've obsessively kept them. So this is, I don't know if this is how you actually say it, but it's Olan yarn. It's from Ireland. Oh, there you go, pretty good. So it's Olan, what is it? Sock Light. And it's an 80-20 superwash merino nylon. So those are the two colors I picked. They are very close in some places, because the reddish one, let me see if I can show, yeah. And everything's backwards. There it is. The pinkish one has the same colors as this one in it. So sometimes I'll get like halfway through a row number 1 and it'll all turn whatever this color is, browny, orangey, yellow. It'll turn that color and I'll have a small heart attack because I'll think that I'm using the wrong color. But I'm not. I just overreact to a lot of things. And then the same other way around too. Like if you look at the top of this one, top of the orange one, orange brown, ochre? Is that actually ochre? I don't know. There's some pink in this one too, so it goes back and forth, but it's mixing really nicely. And I'll actually show you that now. So one side is the pink. Yeah, the color's a little bit better there. It's still a little bit weird and washed out, but I'm trying to figure out where the good light is in this house, and this is the best, but it's still a little bit strange. So that's the pink. And then the other side, obviously, is the brown. And it's super simple. I don't know if I would suggest this for a, actually, yeah, I think maybe a second or third brioche project, but I find this super easy. Like, I don't even look at the pattern anymore. I have it memorized and then I just mark off so I know what row I've done. But it's a very, very simple pattern. And I hope the color's actually good in here and you guys can see what it looks like. It's not all washed out, but I'm really enjoying it. And I definitely didn't swatch this one. I just grabbed some needles and that I knew was going to make a fabric that I like. And I think it's bigger than what Stephen West suggests. I think these are 4.5s. Nope, they're 4s. I lied to you. Maybe I did use what he asked you to use. Who knows? But I like a 4mm needle with fingering for a shawl, so that's what I'm doing. So that's that. I probably won't have much progress on that the next couple podcasts because I have some other things that are a little bit more pressing. That's that. And the other thing I've been working on, I haven't been working on this one so much, but it is something that's on the go. And it is hidden in my shepherdess, I think that's what, shepherdess bag from Longway Homestead that I got. A couple years ago she did a meal support donation thing, and so I did that, and this was what I got in return for that donation. So she sent this bag, and then she sent me one skein of yarn and 2 skeins of yarn. And I absolutely love knitting with this yarn. It's very much like a Briggs & Little feel to me. It's softer than Briggs & Little though, I would have to say. And but it's just very rustic. Like there's veggie matter in it, you can see. But honestly, I love that, and I love how tactile it is when I'm knitting it. Did I actually keep the ball bands of that too? Yes, I did. Look at that. So this is Anna of Longway Homestead. If you don't know who she is, I would really suggest going and following her on Instagram. She's awesome. She has a mill that her and her husband and her kids have started in Manitoba. And it is just so fun to watch her adventures, and her yarn is absolutely fantastic. This yarn was grown by sheep raised on pasture in Manitoba. By reconnecting with the source of our fiber and the land base it is grown on, fiber artists can support small farms, reduce our reliance on fossil fuels, and help restore natural pasture land. Brings me great joy. So the dark one is colored with black walnut, grown and milled in Manitoba. It's 120 grams, 200 meters. And this one is a little bit smaller. It's just a Corriedale natural colorway, grown and milled in Canada, and 165 meters per 100 grams. So that's Longway Homestead. Go and check her out. She's fantastic. And the pattern that I am making, that I am doing with these 2 lovely skeins of yarn, it even matches the bag. The yarn even matches the bag. It just brings me great joy. I don't even know what the name of this pattern is. Anybody know? Something Mukluks by Andrea Mowry. Andrea Mowry. I don't even know if it's on here. I can't remember the name of these. doesn't matter. They are going to be like house slippers. So super thick. And it's done top down, obviously. This is the top. We're going down. And then this is where the heel will be put in. So I'm just working down the toes, down to the toe. I think I have one more repeat of the chart, and then off to the toe I go. The tiny little feet, and I want them to be snug on the foot. So yeah, I'm doing well. I really, really enjoyed this knit. I stayed at a cabin on my own. When was that? The beginning of May, middle of May or something. Jared sent me away on a little getaway because there was a lot going on. I just needed to process life a little bit. And this is the only knitting project that I took with me. And I absolutely loved it. I loved the stitch pattern. It's just very much one color than the other, on and on and on and on and on. Very little patterning, and so it was really easy to follow the pattern. I didn't really have to pay attention, and just very pleasing to see it play out. So that's that. I'm using 4.5s. I think the pattern calls for maybe 5s or 5.5s, but I wanted these to be snug on my foot, not loose. So, and I'm a tight knitter, so I decided to go down to 4.5. So that's that. I've only got this one done. I haven't even, but honestly, there's no rush. Winter is coming, but whatever. I'll get there eventually. So that's that. What's it called? Something Mukluks? I don't know. What is the last thing? The last thing I am going to show you for works in progress is, this is actually another Andrea Mowry design. Anybody know what it's called? I can't remember what it's called. This one is called, I think it's called the Velak. It's Vellichor. It's Andrea Mowry's latest crop design, crop pattern. Oh, that's a pretty accurate color. There you go. So I am working my way up the body. I'm like there maybe. I think I have about, I'm at 7 inches and I think I have to go to 12. Yeah, so I got 5 more inches. I think it's like 2.5 more or 7 inches? Yeah, I still have 2 repeats. That sucks. But this is going really quick because it's really all I've been working on. But yeah, so I'm absolutely loving this pattern. It is very simple, but you do need to pay attention when you're knitting it, just so that you don't screw it up. But it's very easy to follow. Like, you don't really have to look at the pattern to see what you need to do. You can read your knitting really easily. In her version, there is a 3rd contrast color. You can see where I just have like the thick blue stripe. There's supposed to be a 3rd contrast color in the middle of that stripe, but I didn't have a 3rd contrast, or I didn't have a 2nd contrast color, and I just wanted to put, I've wanted to put these 2 colors together for so long. I just decided I'm going to do what I want to do because I am my own human. I'm just going to show you one more time because it's so pretty. So this yarn is Fiddly Dye Works in her merino sock. It's an 80-20. Kate's gonna correct me. It's probably wrong. I always, Kate is my social media consultant. Whenever I do any of my posts, she instantly looks at them and then either edits them, finds spelling mistakes, or like I'll write the base wrong, or she always finds something in my posts and helps me correct it, and I appreciate it so much. But one day I'll be competent. One day, I promise. That's why we work in teams, right? That's why we work together. Oh my god. Okay, so these are the 2 colors I'm using. The top one is Layla, and the bottom one is Sawyer. These two colors look so good together. Kate has an amazing ability for semi-solids. I absolutely love the dimension that is in her colorways. I'm trying to keep it in the sun so you can see. But I am enjoying it so much. For this one, I think I did a super tiny, like a child size on this one too, because I didn't want it to have so much ease. I can't remember for sure, but that's not important. So this is going to be my Knit City sweater. I started this sweater 2 weeks ago, maybe. That's about right. 2 weeks ago, and this is how far I've got. This is fingering weight. Of course, leave it up to me to choose to make a fingering weight shirt 2 months before Knit City and just, yeah, stress myself out even more. But it's fine. I'm doing really well. I think I'm going to pull it off. I'm not terribly concerned. I do have quite a bit of time, and I am knitting quite a bit, so carry on. Did I tell you what it was? Andrea Mowry, Velak, or however you say that. Fiddly Dyeworks yarn in Layla and Sawyer. It's fingering weight. I am using the needles that she suggested, US 3. I did not swatch for this one, so this is a gamble too. Whatever. I'll block it out, it'll be fine. Once again, I don't like things too loose, so putting it up against me, it looks like it's gonna fit me perfectly. I know you can't really see that, but I think it'll be fine. So this is what the main focus is on right now, except distraction, constant distractions from every angle. So, oh, look at that bag shine in the sun. Holy smokes. We have sunlights in this dining room, and so the sun comes in and hits things and just makes them look like they're coming from heaven. So the distraction is, it's an important distraction, I'll put it that way. So Emmy is obviously starting at a new school this year for grade 2, and she's super stressed out. She is really, really worried. That has been my main goal since moving here, is trying to get her relaxed and comfortable with the new town. And she is, but she is very, we've had the pool's awesome. There's so many trails around town. We've done so much, and we've met a few people, we've met a few kids, but nobody specifically that is going to be in her grade. So she's really, really worried that she's not going to know anyone, and she's just getting really stressed out about it. So, I mean, I can only tell her that it's going to be okay so much. She's got a lot going on in her head, which is totally fair. I moved quite a bit when I was younger too, and I know how it feels. And the same thing, like, and I can only tell her that so many times. And she's, yeah, like she can only take it as she will, right? So I thought I've got to do something that she can take with her for first day of school. So I have it in my head that I need to make her a little shrug or some sort of little mom hug that she can wear for first day of school. And my GoPro's gonna die. Okay, we're good. I made it, I think. So, okay, so what I've decided to do for Emmy, I think, I got a couple different, I put a thing on Instagram saying, what pattern should I do? I am so bad at searching on Ravelry to find patterns. I just get so frustrated with it, so I tend to go back to something I already know. But I had a lovely lady named Tara, I don't know how you say her name, sorry. She's a Knit Life on Instagram. She made a custom search for me. She asked me all my details, what do you want in the pattern? She made a custom search for me and then sent me the link to this custom search, and it was amazing. I need to just play around with Ravelry more is what I need to do. I probably won't, but I'm gonna try, because I don't like staring at computers. I have a hard time with that. So her search came up with an amazing list of all these options. of things to do. A lot of them are a little bit more than what I want to do right now, just because of time constraints. School starts in 2 weeks from tomorrow, so I love a deadline. I have to just jam it in 2 weeks, along with my fingering weight sweater that I'm going to need in a month and a half for Knit City. Whatever. So I appreciate that so much, Tara. I have added so many things to my queue to knit through the winter, because Emmy wants a new sweater as well, and all these different things. Mom, now that we're going to be living in this place that has so much snow, I'm going to need a really thick sweater to keep me warm. Yes, you will. And I will knit you one. So anyway, so for first day of school sweater, I am going to use this yarn that I've been hiding for a year and a bit. I bought this specifically to make something for Emmy with it. I have used this yarn before and I absolutely love it. This is what it is. I call it the Illuminati yarn. It is not Illuminati. But this is what the yarn is. Is my finger over top of it? No. It's 56% mulberry silk, 40 baby alpaca, and 4% merino. I absolutely love it. It's glorious. It has the most beautiful halo. It's a chain ply, I don't know if you call it the base, but it's a chain ply inside, and then like the mulberry silk, or no, it's not the silk, it's the baby alpaca that gives it that amazing halo. But what I've decided to do, because I already know that I love the Love Note pattern so much, and Emmy has actually, she goes into my sewing room all the time and she just pets the Love Note. She absolutely loves how soft it is and the pattern and everything. So I'm just going to make her one, because I already know that she likes it. So I'm just going to make it a super cropped version, no sleeves, just like I did mine, and that'll be that. And the gauge is going to be a little bit different, but I honestly don't think it'll be that different, just because how this yarn is made. I think it'll be just fine. So I need to get that swatched up and get that started very soon so that it can be ready for first day of school. So if you want to see that tag again, this stuff is started to pop up everywhere. I originally got it at Knit City from Wet Coast Wools, and it was, when was that? 2 years ago? I've been 3. 2 years ago? It was broken last year. I think it was 3 years ago. So, and then I found it at Stash as well. That's where I got this one, was at Stash. So it's pretty easy to find. Or it has been for me anyway. And I would highly recommend using it because it's gorgeous. So soft. Have I showed you everything I'm supposed to show you? What do you think about my hair? One of the biggest stresses about moving was not having my hairdresser anymore, because I love my hairdresser so much. Amy had been cutting my hair for 12 years, as long as I'd lived in Olds, and I just can't bring myself to go and find someone else, because I don't trust anyone else with cutting my hair. I've never had good luck with hairdressers until I found Amy, and so to go to someone else is honestly a little terrifying. So I'm just going to wear hats for the rest of my life and then go back to Olds to get my hair cut. Probably not. What else was I going to tell you guys? Oh, I was going to tell you that, oh, my phone is telling me that there's sufficient battery. But I'm like, how is there sufficient battery? It's not plugged in. But I plugged both of them in. I'm so smart. I wanted to show you some bags that I'm putting in the shop tonight after I'm done this. This is Rosie's birthday party bag. Tomorrow is Rosie's first birthday. She's going to be 1 whole year old. So I found this fabric, and it's all these forest creatures that are having a birthday party. And I would just like to direct your attention to this fox right here. This is the kind of birthday party that I like. I have my piece of cake, and I go down into my safe little den and then I have a nap. Yeah. So there's going to be 3 of these going into the shop later today. They have the cotton linen bottom, and then the quilting cotton top. And the inside, all the patterns placement will be slightly different, but they are really, really close. You'll get each of the little creatures is on every bag. And on the inside is lightning bugs and moths and feathers and what are those? Oh, they look like bleeding hearts, ferns, oak leaves, dandelions, stars, mushrooms, all sorts of magical foresty things. So those will be in fairly shortly. I'm going to see if I can get her to come over here. She's just being a hot dog laying in the shade right now. That sun is something else. So there's that. I also wanted to show you these 2 bags. There are some bags in the shop right now if you want to go and take a look. These are just a couple of examples. This is my bucket bag. I started making this last summer. They are made, they are made out of a waxed canvas, and then I've put on my Lone Larch stamp onto normal canvas and then put that on. They have leather handles and they open up. They're just a nice big catch-all bucket bag. When I first made them, I shoved as many skeins as I could in here to see what it would hold, and I got 8 skeins of yarn in here, no problem. And then I had, what else did I have? Like my notions tin and needles, and then I think that was it. But it is quite a large bag, and they've been quite popular, and I appreciate all the people that have already bought one. I had them at, well, that's another thing that's changed, I guess. Kate and I have started doing markets. Fiddly Dye Works and I have started doing markets. We did Fiber Frolic in Edmonton in May, and then before that we did Fibers West in Surrey in March, and our next market is going to be Knit City. Never in my life did I think I was going to be a vendor at Knit City. Are you kidding me? Here I am. I have a lot of sewing to do. But that's tomorrow's job. Well, I mean, I have been sewing to prepare for it, but tomorrow production is really going to step up, so I have a really good selection of bags for everyone there. So that's the bucket bag. And then this is just another thing that I built the other day that I absolutely love. It's got the acorns on the top. That's the quilting cotton. And then the bottom is the wax canvas. Those bucket bags also come in this color. The brown. I guess I can actually show it to you. There's some top stitching on there. The acorns. And then this one I think just has acorns inside too, yeah. Acorns inside. I love these little pink acorn, pardon me, fabrics. This one has a leather zipper pull. That's not usual. I was just using bits and pieces that I had left over. That is something that I really focus on, is using absolutely every single little scrap that's left over from just stuff that I've bought, is using what I have on hand and using everything that I buy to its absolute fullest, because there's enough crap in the landfills. We don't need to add to it. So that's one of those. And there's a couple different fabrics on top to choose from in the shop. There's a couple different colors of buckets in the shop with different liners, different colors of leather handles. And there's some medium wedge in the shop. There's some sock in the shop. There's some two-toned in the shop. I have some wool-bottomed ones. I didn't bring one up, but I have a couple of bags two-toned like this that have a wool bottom. It's like a felted wool. It's gray. And I need to get a couple more bits of fabric to finish those ones, but there's some more patterned fabrics with the wool bottoms that are going to be coming soon. And then we have Rosie's bag, Rosie's birthday bag, And I will show you this too, and then I think this will be the very last thing. I have started making these shawl cuffs or arm cuffs, whatever you want to use them for. And they're in the shop as well. I started to make them in 3 different sizes, 3 different options, I guess. There's a single wrap, a double wrap, and a triple wrap. This is the triple wrap. This is all genuine leather that I've purchased. I literally have half a cow in my sewing room. The leather is absolutely gorgeous. I spent a lot of time looking through and finding a supplier that I was comfortable with and just a product that I was proud of. So here it is. So that's the 3. That's the 3. There's a 2. This obviously is my measuring tape one, but it's very similar to the way this one looks, only without the measuring tape. And then there's a single wrap one as well. All of those are in the shop as well, with the measurements and my wrist circumference, and then like the length of the wrap, so that you can kind of gauge what it's going to look like on your wrist or your shawl, how much ease and stuff that you want. So there's that. And they have the, what are these called again? Post button or something? Post button closures. They're the same as what are on all those measuring tape bracelets as well. They're like a metal button. I don't know what else to call them. I can't remember what their technical name is, but, or what the supplier calls them, but. So there's that. These are really fun to make and to play with and to wrap around certain things. I'm a big fan of the shawl cuff. Huge respect to Knox Mountain Knit Co., who I think feels as though she started the this whole trend. I think it's really awesome. I am a person that doesn't wear shawls very often because of how annoying they are when they're moving around and getting loose and falling off your body, and I find it really annoying because it doesn't stay put, so it ends up just being taken off. So theirs are really awesome as well. I have one of hers, and they use recycled belts or whatever leather bits, like handles from purses, stuff like that, and they've turned them into cuffs that way, which I think is a genius idea, and I use mine quite a bit. It's amazing how just that little piece of leather holds your shawl in place so well. So big fan. I think that's all I have to tell you. We've done many, many adventures. I'm going to put some at the beginning and some at the end. You've obviously already seen the ones at the beginning, but I'll put some pictures and some videos of some adventures that we've had around town so far. And let's see if we can get Rosie. She's snoring on the floor right now. Let's go see if we can get her. Okay, it's going to be wiggly for a minute. I strategically hidden all of... Oh no, now you can see all my dirty house. Hold on. I'm going to bring my phone so I can actually see what I'm doing here. Rosie, don't look at my floors. They're super dirty. Rosie? Is it a hard day for dogs? Oh, is it a hard day for dogs? Is it a hard day for dogs? What do you think? Look at all those lips. Oh, it's a hard day for dogs. Yeah. Happy birthday, Rosie! Almost. Tomorrow's her happy birthday. We're going to take her on a long 4-kilometer WALK around our forest. And she's going to get a BONE when we get back. What else? Emmy made a whole list of things that we're going to do for her when it's her birthday. There's something else too. I can't remember what it is. Have a party or something with the stuffies, I think she said. But she's a great little monster. Oh yeah, such a hard day for dogs. Why are you disturbing me? Why are you disturbing me? Well, from Rosie and I, we will see you in a couple of weeks. Have a great day and get outside as much as you can. Bye!